We got the Texas Beaumont's on. You're back home, obviously, or back in the States, 3-0. Obviously, we all wanted a different outcome for the series, but it seems like this Boston team is loaded. Just forward thinking. I mean, do you think Dallas even has a remote chance to make this a competitive series?
I don't think they have a choice. I think when it comes down to this situation, Luka legacy is on the line. You on the biggest stage in basketball, you can't get swept. And he cost his team. Well, let me say this: he failed the organization tonight. He failed his team and his coach. Emotionally, he drained the entire organization, and it started in the first quarter. The complaining to the refs, the not getting back in transition, the falling, crying for fouls, the not playing defense, second effort, blaming your teammates, blaming your coaches. The last play that he fouled out, everybody in the world knew that was a foul. He forced Jason Kidd to challenge that call. And he had no choice because you want him in the game. But it's like, Luka, excuse me, why you even put yourself in that position? Why you put your team in that position? So for game 1 and game 2, the whole time we kept saying, when is Kyrie going to arrive? When he go help Luka out? Kyrie at least was trying. Today, Luka tapped out on his team in Dallas. You can't, game 4 is going to tell me a lot about Luka. Is he going out like Anthony Edwards and going to say, I ain't getting swept? Or is he going to roll over?
I love that. So, obviously, I think there is a maturity part of Luka that definitely needs to be discussed going into the offseason. But this Mavs team, obviously, if they're trying to get back to the finals, they're going to need a little bit more because the West is going to be struggling. In your opinion, let's just say in a weird timeline, a guy, maybe they try to put together a big three, right? The likes of a LeBron or somebody like that. What do you see, or what do you think the Mavs would need to get over the hump, or just basically try to compete with a team like Boston?
Well, I think to me, you can never go wrong with shooting. Obviously, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jay Kidd not seeing eye to eye for whatever reason, and you try to move that contract and get back some valuable pieces. What you need around Kyrie and Luka is you need shooting. You already have 2 dynamic rollers, probably 2 of the best live threat guys in the league, and Lively and Gafford. You don't really have to do much. But Luka, what he has to do is he has to do a better job of maintaining, right? If you come into training camp, the way you come into training camp is the way you should look at the end of the season. And I would be lying if I would sit up here and tell you that Luka looks in shape, right? And then all of a sudden the injuries start to come back and things are lingering and things like that. Well, you build for the marathon. And so it shows when you're playing against a team like the Boston Celtics. They look physically stronger. They look more athletic. They look more conditioned, better conditioned. So if you're Luka, what are you gonna do? You remember that video? And I was kind of mad at Mike Finley, even though that's my partner, man. I was kind of mad at him when he took the beer out of Luka's hand, but I kind of understand it. It's like, but it's more than just perception. It's like I never seen someone that have the success that you want to have without sacrifice. So you got to sacrifice something, you know what I mean? And you could just see it in Luka's body, and if what he don't realize is the way that we praise him, and rightfully so, 5-time first-team All-NBA, leading scorer. This might be the worst summer of his life when it comes down from hearing it from the media.
Oh, yeah.
He gonna hear it. And it's going to be a wake-up call from him because he's probably never heard it like he's going to hear it now.
This reminds me of 2007 what happened to Dirk, where it was like they had a disappointing first round.
Yeah.
You know what? And I want to shift to the Celtics, man, because you said something very interesting, and I think that it seems like when Perk, I'm gonna call it like when Perk, what's the word? Like shout out to Rashad Fields. I'm gonna have to use this one. When Perk Yoda says something, a lot of people they get upset, but then when you start thinking about it more, it happens. Jaylen Brown.
I
think there's a case to be made, man. Jaylen Brown's probably the Finals MVP right now, in my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just seeing him doing what he's doing, and the fact that people tried to sort of say they can't work, those two can't work, and we're seeing Jaylen Brown not only not be just a Robin, he's the Batman in this situation in most cases. What have you seen from him, man? And just he's making everything that people said about him last season look a lot different now.
Well, here's the thing when you think about Jaylen Brown. I was one of them that thought it couldn't work because, to be honest with you, have we really seen it work since Jordan and Pippen? Right? When you talk about like two guard wing guys to lead you into a championship, when was the last time we really saw that? Like, probably that was the last time. It's usually a combination of a big and a guard in the center or whatever, power forward. What Jaylen Brown is doing right now, man, and I saw it after game one, is that he's been the best player consistently in this series. You can't look at the points because he's not getting the shot attempts in certain games. But tonight he had them 22. I think he had like 31, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. But it was the powerful plays, not popular. It was the powerful plays for me out of Jaylen Brown that set the tone in game one. You remember the picking Luka up full court, okay, ripping them twice. The verticality block on Derrick Jones Jr. The dunk, snatching the screws out on Daniel Gafford. Okay, the block shot that he had on Kyrie Irving, we tossed it out of bounds and was talking noise. Like, that set the tone. And from that point forward, he's been on a mission, man. He's really been on a mission since he felt like he got snubbed from the All-NBA team. And man, he's dead serious. He mean it. And here's another conversation. Do you think he feels some type of way that he's not on the Olympic team? Right? Like, it's a lot of conversation that needs to be had. And when Jaylen Brown completes this mission with this run, one, the Celtics on the verge of having one of the most dominant runs in NBA history. We could say they played injured teams or whatever the case may be. They're 15-2. Jaylen Brown is probably about to capture, well, he already got the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He's about to get the Finals MVP, and he's doing it for one of the most historical franchises in sports. Just think at the table he's about to be sitting at when he captured those awards. He's about to be sitting there with Bird, Russell, Paul Pierce, Cedric Cornbread Maxwell. Like, he eating filet and ribeye. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, man, no one could say that $300 million wasn't well deserved. Well deserved, man, and it's crazy to see, and he's doing it on both ends of the floor.
Very rare. You know, you named 4 Celtics in that equation, and I got just 2 more questions. If you did your Boston Celtics Mount Rushmore, you're 4, and I think you named a guy that you play with probably could be in that 4. But if you could do 4, who would be your 4?
Well, look, I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people will be upset with me, but one, Larry Legend is in there, okay? Larry Bird is in there. Kevin Garnett is in there. Okay? Kevin Garnett is in there. Cedric Maxwell said it himself. Cedric Maxwell said that Kevin Garnett is the best all-around player to ever wear a Celtics uniform. I mean, what else do we need to say? All right, I'm putting Bill Russell in there. Okay, now we looking at the other 2. You know, one could say, you know, they feel some type of way about it, but I actually want to put Ray in there. I actually want to put Ray Allen in there. I like Ray Allen. Like, Boston fans give him a lot of heat, but man, we don't win a lot of those games and win a championship without Ray Allen. And we had a saying in there: he may not come when you want him, but he was always on time. Right? I had Paul Pierce. That's my starting 5. The truth. Paul Pierce had one of the greatest individual runs in playoff history. Prime Joe Johnson he faced. He went toe-to-toe with him. Then he went toe-to-toe with Braun. Then he had to go, you know, he did his thing in that Detroit series against Chauncey Tayshaun and Rip Hamilton. Okay? And then to top it off, you go toe-to-toe with Cole. And you come out with the Finals MVP? Name me a better individual run.
You got me thinking, man. I didn't think about this scenario. He went through young LeBron when everybody thought
He went through. Yes, he went through young LeBron. Yeah, one of the greatest runs in playoff history.
Okay, cool. One more question, man. So, trying to think how we could do this one. Okay, so obviously, today, Jerry West and, of course, Coach Hughes. And I want to use the Coach Hughes thing as an example. I know you already talked about it, but you competed against that Dunbar team. And Coach Hughes is the all-time winning coach in high school history. He's a Hall of Famer as well. Just being from Texas and understanding that football has always sort of reigned supreme here, right? But we've had hoopers, we've had great basketball stories. Just competing against a Coach Hughes. Can you talk about that and just what he brought to the game and being a competitor? You had to compete against him.
Listen, when it comes down to a man, an iconic figure like Coach Hughes, his resume speaks for itself. It's longer than the holiday weekend, right? But it's the lives he touched, right? It's what he did outside of the court. It's how many times have he blessed families, single-parent households, right? Picking up kids to make sure that they was at the gymnasium or made it to practice. Things to that nature is the things people don't realize. How many phone calls he had to answer when one of his players was going through a trying time that didn't have to deal with basketball, right? That's the thing. And what it does is it puts you in the perspective of who's next, right? Like, who's next? Who's going to be the next person to carry that torch? Who's going to be the next person to say, you know what, I want to be the next Coach Hughes. I want to impact lives like no other. That's the thing that you got to ask yourself. When you talk about a Texas legend, he's one of one.
Tom, man, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.